Yes, knowledge, body of knowledge. Yo, I sit here and I'm like, how do I explain anything to anybody that doesn't have a body of knowledge? And what is that? It's information. It's not just information. It's useful data. Everything's data. Everything's data. But data doesn't inform you. You have to compile data to get information, to be informed. So how can you be informed if you don't even have information? How the fuck are you going to get information if you don't know how to correlate and analyze data? Seeing what's relevant, what's not, what could be, what can't be. I mean, and this is the problem with religious dogmas and all that shit in general. It totally dismisses any kind of analytical, intelligent dissection. Like, how are you gonna, if you believe the Bible is 100% true, word for word, and it's the word of God, I can't talk to you. How the fuck can I talk to you? You're ignorant by choice. You say, well, it's faith. And my answer to that is, how do you expect anything to change, be different? How can you change yourself if your whole life is just based on faith? Faith in what? Faith in some data that you got, that you treated like it was information. You felt like you were informed enough to make a decision about installing a belief system in your brain. No. And people want to talk shit. I know what a safety net is for people in their minds when it comes to shit like that, because I mean, if you don't try to look at anything, you will be a slave to your belief system. Real shit. How can you call yourself a Christian when you're a teenager, and then as you get older and you acquire more data and it's information, and then turn into knowledge? How can that not change your belief system? That means you're not learning anything. That means you're still mentally a teenager. Shit, if you've been raised like that, you're still a little kid in your head. Yeah, you might be working a job, or you have a career and you have a family and shit, but you're still a fucking kid in your brain. That's why you watch the news and you believe that shit. Because the general consensus is that TV person's telling me the truth, because TV doesn't lie. Why would TV lie? Why would TV try to trick me or program me and make me think shit that I don't want to believe, make you want to? Why do you think they have commercials? Why do you think they have commercials? If you know what you like and you know what the best product is, you would just go buy that shit. All you would have to do is know it existed and you would go buy that shit. They wouldn't even have commercials. Why do you think they have commercials? I mean, think about the shit. The reason I made this video is I want to shine some light in your forest. I tell my boys and shit whenever we're out and I'm preaching this shit, I'm like, Most motherfuckers, it's not even the blind leading the blind. These niggas can't even see. Their eyes are open, but they're just in darkness. That's because a blind motherfucker knows they're blind. They know they can't see. Somebody that can see, but just can't see shit, is in darkness. That's it, period. They can see, but there's no light to reflect off of, you know? If you know how our vision works in the spectrum, then, you know, you feel what I'm saying. Everything is light. Here, let's try this. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. We know the creation story, right? But nobody looks at the shit and tries to dissect it. Like, what is he talking about? What's really going on? Look, I'm going to tell you right now. I believed myself to be a Christian when I was younger. I went to church and I believed in God. I believed in Jesus. All that. I believed it all. You know why? Because my body of knowledge was that big. I knew that much about the Bible. I knew that much about religion. I knew this much about society. I knew this much about control mechanisms, science, physics, all that shit. Who the fuck told you that the earth was round? You got people saying the earth is flat. That's ridiculous. How the fuck is the earth flat? Ah, it's flat. I don't know. It's spinning too. People say it doesn't spin. How can it not spin? NASA says it does. Science told me that shit when I was in the fucking 7th and 8th grade. I remember Mr. Young. My science teachers always loved me because I always had a scientific mind and I always asked questions. When I was younger, they hated that shit because I'm looking at the fucking map of the world. I'm looking at the globe and I'm like, something did not click right. Now, if you, the school, the maps they show you at school, that pull down map, remember them shits? That pull down map? Fake as fuck. Look how big Africa is. Look how big everything is compared to Africa is the biggest continent in the fucking world. I mean, and this is how stupid people are. I mean, shit. Sarah Palin thought it was a country. These mother people don't even fucking know. People wanted to vote this bitch in for president. The leader of the free world, whatever the fuck that means. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, body of knowledge. Why are you listening to people that are telling you stuff? I tell my son, I said, yeah, you can take that in. I was like, but see how you feel about it. See how you feel about it. If it don't feel right, man, dissect that shit. Dissect that shit. Don't be afraid to ask. I'm pretty sure God didn't create us and was like, I want him to be just, cognitive dissonance. Gotta make sure he doesn't fucking change his mind about anything because I want him to be a fucking moron. So that would mean God's a moron because we're created in his image. I mean, think about these things. We're created in his image. What's an image? What's a copy? What's a rendering? You know what I mean? Dissect that shit, yo. Look, I was at some of my boys' house and I'm like, because the last thing I investigated was flat earth because this shit sounded so ridiculous. I mean, real shit, it sounds crazy because we're programmed. We know the world's around. I saw these niggas land on the moon. I seen footage. And then when they left, they were in the module and they blasted off and the camera caught them blasting off, but nobody asked who the fuck was left on the moon to film these niggas blasting off. Marvin the Martian? Think about this shit. This shit is, and I'm not even saying that we didn't go to the moon. I'm saying that shit was fake. Because the moon's not what we think it is. The sun's not what we think it is. And them shit is not in outer space. Answer me this. Okay, it's a cloudy night. Whatever. Go outside and look for the moon. Look how the light shines on the clouds. Okay? You don't have to be a super smart, well-educated individual. You just have to pay a fucking attention. You know what I'm saying? You know what you see. You know how you perceive things. go outside, and then even when the sun's out, do the same thing. If that motherfucker's 93 million miles away, the way light travels, nobody can tell me this because I know this shit. I took physics twice. Real shit. I had to. I had to take trigonometry, fuck, more than twice. Like, but I learned the shit, okay? And once I learned that shit, I started thinking about just because real shit. I had to go fucking in on physics because you get older. I smoke weed and shit. The shit, it that takes dedication. Physics is no joke. But when you start to learn it it's actually kind of like a natural. You're like, yeah, the way forces move and shit and buoyancy. I mean, these are things that we've actually picked up just being alive. You be in the water, something. You had a ball in the water. You try to put the ball under the water, try to pop back up. That's all physics. We learn every day. We just don't know what to call it. We don't know how to. I just knew how to assign these certain things and properties and things that I didn't know before. That's it, and I can explain them now. But whenever that shit starts happening, whenever you start gaining new information and shit, your belief system starts getting fucked with. Because if you're a real intelligent person and analytical, you'll be like, well, damn, why doesn't that in the Bible? And what it did is it drove me away from the Bible. It got to a point where I wanted to prove the whole motherfucker false. I was like, I'm about to destroy this book. Real shit, I'm going to investigate it. I started investigating it. And I actually started doing it at the most sober point in my whole life. No weed, nothing, drinking, nothing. Real shit. And I started finding all these inconsistencies and I'm like, well damn, if it was Adam and Eve and then they had sons, because I had a whole problem with, I'm like, well damn, first of all, were they white? Fuck no. Impossible. Okay? So, and that's another thing that drew me away from the book was it seemed like this shit was just written for white people. Just like the Constitution was, right? So, me being who I am couldn't attach myself to a belief system that told me I wasn't shit. And that justifies slavery. And that's what those motherfuckers cling to whenever they're like, well, obey your master, or you're a good servant. That's what they were pushing on slaves back in the day and shit. That Christian bullshit. Right? But as I got older and I got a little older and shit, I started looking at certain things like, damn, flat earth. Like I was looking at the flat earth. Go outside and look at the fucking sky with the sun and the moon in it, right? How is the light on top of the clouds where it's at? If it was farther away, they said the moon's like, what, 230 something thousand miles away? Man, that shit, if you shine a flashlight, the beam, the light gets bigger as it spreads out, right? It's like, so what the fuck is the sun and the moon? A laser beam? Just beaming right down on the motherfucking shit? I mean, it's shit that should already have you like, oh. And then, okay, we're spinning at, what, 60-something thousand miles an hour? We're spinning, right? Like a fucking top. We're spinning and spinning and spinning like some fucking rims and shit. Okay, so if we're spinning, good, you take the North Star, Polaris. It's fixed, right? They say, no, it's not the way, it's the Earth spinning. While we're rotating around the sun, and the moon is rotating around us, and we're spinning. Like, look up at the fucking sky. Does that look like any of that's happening? Real shit. Think about it. Just think about it. Just think about it really hard. See, because what the problem is, people think they're smart, right? Like I was saying, I was at my boy's house, and I'm like, hey, check this out. How come if you were to if you were to jump into the air and stay there for 5 minutes and then just kind of float back down, you'd land in the same spot. If the earth is fucking spinning, how come you're not landing a couple feet away, 60, 10 feet away, half a mile away? Right? Because physics says that if something is on a ball spinning, if it comes off of the ball's still spinning. And no, we're not in this atmospheric vacuum where, oh, because we're just pushing the air and everything. Man, how come the fucking breeze doesn't get affected then? How come it'd be windy as shit all the fucking time? All the time. I'm saying, use this. God put shit in our head to make us think. He didn't program us to be slaves. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying God as a universal term, because I believe in a higher power or higher powers. Because to believe we're the only humanoid, intelligent beings in existence ever is so fucking ignorant. And just shows you the ego of man. Oh, I'm man. I make fire. I build building. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Weak shit, dude. We ain't shit. And that's the first thing you got to do is humble yourself and realize that, we're ants on this motherfucker. There's shit flying around that can do shit that we can't even explain. And we're smart. We're the smart ones. This shit still recording? Okay, good. But okay, so I'm asking my guys this shit. I'm asking why, I'm like, how come is it faster to fly to London than it is from London to fucking New York? You know what I'm saying? Or some shit like that. How is the same distance in time to fly in opposite directions if the motherfucker's spinning? One way it should take longer, one way should be way shorter. Physics. Okay? Like I said with the sun in him. So this motherfucker grabs his phone and shit. This is the shit I can't stand, because this is ignorance at its greatest, dude. Okay, Google. Why does... Motherfucker, you're asking your phone to give you information about stuff you don't know. See, you're not even using your brain. People are so fucking lazy, they don't even want to think. They're like, okay, Google. Man, that's pathetic, dude. That's the most pathetic thing you can do as a human being, is try to rely on something else besides your mind to solve. Real shit. And so what I want you to do is, I want you to pay more attention to sunlight and moonlight. Look at it. When it's cloudy, look how it shines on. And I guarantee you, there's no motherfucking way. Because once you see it, you're like, man, that shit ain't even in outer space. It's not even in outer space. There's no fucking way the sun's 93 million miles away. Oh, and the distance that the moon is from the earth and that the sun is from the earth is so that the moon and the sun seem the same size. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? They just happen to be the same. There's all this shit, all these planets and shit like that, but no. Just this one and this one, they're perfectly eclipsed. Like, dude, slap the shit out of yourself if you can even believe this shit. We're believing NASA. You know who NASA was started by? Fucking Nazis. Nazi scientists we brought over, Project Paperclip, looked that shit up. That's where we got all of our shit from. Real shit. And downed airships that we find. We're like, how do these work? How do they? And you get these ex-Nazi scientists that you put in the top clearance of all of our government and shit. Man, people have no idea what kind of mess that shit created. Not to mention, oh yeah, here, like, oh, we built a nuke too. Sweet. Now we can kill everybody. And somebody, and then, man, I can't remember the one that, the scientist that said it. I mean, motherfucker was like, dude, what have we done? Like, but see, they had people working on that shit. They had thousands of people working on that shit. They didn't even know what they were doing. That's how the government. See, the reason I'm saying that is because there's thousands of teachers, professors, scientists, NASA, politicians that know some shit, whatever like that. But they all don't know because they're marginalized in their fucking knowledge of anything. And our geologists don't talk to astronomers. You know, paleontologists don't talk to fucking historians. It's so fucking crazy that the scientific community is so divided and it just so compartmentalized. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why don't you guys just? They should have like big ass scientific gatherings where motherfuckers just sit around and just talk about shit and think about shit. But nobody does this. Motherfucker got a degree and shit. He's revered because he went here and got this degree from here and then wrote a fucking paper about this and it sounded good. So it gets a stamp of approval from every other dipshit. And then it's science. It's like, yeah. And it's like, yeah. Show me a picture of the goddamn Earth. We're in outer space. We're flying shit to fucking Mars. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. Everything they're showing us is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. All this shit is bullshit. To keep you complacent and to keep you just doing what you're doing. The Rockefellers created the American Education Association. And it says, literally, they purposely want to keep us at a level of ignorance. He said, because we don't want them to be, no, we are the leaders and the politicians and we govern the people and shit like that. We tell them what to think or like that. These motherfuckers just need to farm their shit and work in the factories and do their, because that's all they're good for. We're the smart ones, right? And same program, same fucking program, same program. You don't think they're? Hey, I don't really give a shit about guns because I sold my fucking gun. I had a strap for 5 years. I ain't supposed to have a gun. They'll probably try to arrest me for it. I don't give a fuck. But I'm just being real though. Look, the fact that I had one indicated that I wasn't intelligent enough, or I was so reckless that I cannot avoid a fatal conflict with another human being that is intelligent. I'm not saying about here slipping, but if you, and half the time, I mean, because since you can't legally carry one, you can't have it all the time, or you go to jail for it. My dude did 6 years for that shit. I can't afford that. You know what I'm saying? I know what that confinement shit does to you. And I would have never been the same. I'd be fucking useless right now. So, and I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I've never been scared of black people. Real shit. I'm not scared of my people. Real shit. I'm scared of these crazy white motherfuckers that go shooting up malls and shit. That's real shit. I don't have beef. I've never pointed my gun at another black man or any minority. Real shit. I'm not saying I'm the shit because of that, but I am proud of the fact that I've never tried to wage war against mine. You were like, well, it's going to be your people and my people. It's like, well, because motherfuckers made it that way. Okay? Until police stop shooting motherfucking black people like it's going out of style and shit. And people are like, oh, there's no racism and shit like that. Man, get the fuck out of here. I'm black. You can't tell me that shit. You can't tell me that shit. You know, only white people say that. And sellout conservative ass motherfuckers like that, Jesse James, whatever the fuck that nigga's name is, black conservative dude in the what's that other dude's name? I wish I could remember his name. I just Larry something. Larry motherfucking sellout. These motherfuckers talking about calling Trayvon Martin a thug and shit whenever that shit happened. I'm like, man, you weak niggas need to get your ass kicked and fucking shot. That's the only black on black crime I condone. But just smoke them niggas, dude, because those motherfuckers are the enemy. Real shit. And they're not called Uncle Toms. Uncle Tom was a friendly person. They got that story. Everything's flipped around. So whatever they tell you, it's the opposite. Real shit.